take no loss. I don't even know what it costs. I hit the ground, then it go off. Yeah, hit the ground, then it go off. Yeah, I can't take no loss. I don't even know what it costs. Yeah, I hit the ground, then it go off. Yeah, hit the ground, then it go off. Yeah, run it. Ooh, I really feel it's my time. Think it's my year.
All right. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the morning show here on Stock Market TV. Sergio, I'm here, man. Come on. What's going on? Welcome back. Spencer, Steve, JC, Alfonso with you this morning. Got a lot going on. We got Kenny Glick. We got Sonu Varghese joining us. He brought a whole deck of charts, which we're going to talk about at 9. We'll have mornings with Mary. And we got earnings, obviously, right? Alphabet, AMD last night. Eli Lilly this morning. I saw Shake Shack out there as well. A lot to discuss just in terms of things moving and happening, and try to talk more about Bitcoin, which we will, I'm sure. So let's get the show on the road here. Smash that like, please, and thank you. And here we go.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back.
Good morning.
You know when you say start your engines? My twins are going.
They're still gas powered. They're not EVs.
Not yet.
I don't know anybody who's got an EV. Actually,
Really? I'm surprised by that. Your neighborhood, I would expect
a couple of Teslas, maybe. I guess not really.
All right.
Not really. A lot of SUVs. You know, a lot of moms around where I live. You know, a lot of kids.
Oh, where you live is somewhat hilly, right? Like what? You know, like.
Dude, I got my side by side. I'm hauling like a giant trailer of kids tomorrow for Halloween. So, I mean, it's real hills. You know, when I go running out there, you know, it's real hills.
So, Spencer, how was the World Series? I was thinking of you last night.
Bucket list item, tremendous. I have no.
You went?
He was there last night.
Yeah,
I'm like blowing up his phone because we're having like some issues with like an email. I didn't know you were at the World Series.
Yeah, I was there. I was messaging you from the game. It was before the game started though, so it was all good. But it was awesome, man. It was tremendous. I have a screenshot. I'll show it later during recess. I came very, very, very close to one of the home run balls last night. We'll talk about that later. No, it was a great experience.
Very cool.
Yeah, we won. It was awesome. I mean, it was once in a lifetime. So.
I was so feeling baseball last night.
Not once in a lifetime. You can go to another World Series.
Okay, it's funny you mentioned that.
They go like every year.
No. There is a greater than 0, but like less than 10% chance that I go to the game tonight too.
Oh wow!
It's possible.
Oh,
it's only because my friend's dad works for the Yankees, and they have tickets to every game.
That's the way to do it.
And they said if my friend's mom doesn't go, she was sick last night. If my friend's mom doesn't go, I will have the right of first refusal for tonight's game.
The moms start dropping out. Game 5, Game 6. The moms don't want
to.
She was sick last night. She didn't go last night. She wasn't feeling well. So
listen, Spencer has it right. You need somebody who works for the Yankees. My buddy's little brother worked for the Yankees. He would give us all the VIP tickets. We'd just show up. He'd hook us up, and then he got fired, unfortunately, for giving tickets away. So that's a bummer. But it was fun while it lasted.
Yeah, so it's the only way. It was a tremendous experience. Great seats, great atmosphere, great win, great everything. I'm in a great mood today, everybody. Let's talk about it.
Amazing. What do you say? We get into it?
Yeah.
I was feeling baseball so much after that win last night. I started watching the HBO documentary from 2000, 2003, 2004. Like the fights, the big rivalry games between the Red Sox and the Yankees. You would love it.
Oh, you will. I'm not going to watch that. No.
Really?
Because I know how it ends.
But the Yankees. So the first couple episodes, the Yankees were dominating, but now it's going to be the big comeback.
Yeah, I'm not going to watch that. No, thank you. I'll pass.
Good.
Yeah.
Pedro, they're interviewing Pedro and Manny Ramirez. And
Shut up. Boston Red Sox. You grew up way too near Massachusetts for my liking.
Everyone
Enough with this.
close to me, my family and friends were all Yankees.
Are you a Bruins fan too and a Patriots fan?
You're crazy. I didn't meet Red Sox fans until I went to college. That they were all over the place.
I can't.
Not where I grew up in Connecticut.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have the futures of the Dow Jones Industrial Average doing nothing this morning. Down about 50 points. It's about 10 basis points. S&Ps are flat also, just under 5,900. NASDAQ 100 futures leading the way, up 20 points, 20,716. 30-year bond futures up close to 1/3%, 118. Crude oil up 2%, 68.5. Copper down 50 basis points, 433. Gold up 40 basis points, just under 2,800. Silver down 40 basis points, 34.30. Very, very impressive there. Volatility index still hovering right near 20. Fascinating that people continue to be so scared despite new all-time highs in the stock market every month. Bitcoin, huge last couple days. 72,000 currently for Bitcoin, down 1% on the day. Ethereum up 1%, 2670. Solana 175, down 2%. Binance down 1.5%, back under 600. Total crypto market cap, Spencer Israel, 2.375 trillion. Total crypto market cap, with the Bitcoin dominance pushing 60%. New multi-year highs for Bitcoin dominance. What are our thoughts this morning?
Google.
All right, throw up slide 3. We're gonna go right to it.
My thoughts. I mean,
for sure.
Did we think that this wasn't going to be a nice little tactical base? This is a breakaway gap as far as I'm concerned. 7%.
That's up 6.5% this morning. That's an increase in market capitalization of, check my math, $130 billion in value for shareholders created overnight. 130 billion ish.
This company, what's the market cap that you just said?
It was 2.1 yesterday, so probably 2.25 or so today.
That's insane. They are growing their sales despite their size at 15% year over year, 88 billion, 16% constant currency. The bottom line, though, their EPS growth, 34%, 26 billion.
What I don't get, and this is really not unique to Google because Amazon and Microsoft doing the same thing. How is the cloud revenue still growing like 30, 35, 40 or more percent?
35% to
every
11
single quarter. They're all doing this. All three of them.
AI now. This is their AI stuff.
It must be but this has been going on for years though, like literally years. The cloud has been growing between anywhere from 30 to 60% across the big three, right?
You're right. This is their like AWS, right? Which makes sense. It's the cloud stuff. So they attributed it to growth in AI infrastructure.
Yeah, they did.
Generative AI solutions, don't know what that means, and core GCP products.
It's just insane.
You guys,
here's the best part.
Been using Perplexity?
I have not. I have Notion, and I have the other one that you told me to download, and I have been playing with those.
Yeah, I've been playing with the Perplexity. You know, maybe I just suck at it. I think I just suck at it because these tools are way better than what I'm using them for. I think I'm just not good. I've watched like videos, like how-to videos, and I'm like, yeah, all right. I don't know.
There's a huge issue of adoption, right? With this AI revolution. They can't just like build these awesome tools. They have to like teach us and train us and convince us to try them and use them, right?
I feel like a boomer using like DeFi protocols for the first time. Like, you know what I mean? Like I feel like a caveman, like, on my computer. I don't know. I need some help. I think I need some help. I'm gonna call some people. You know, AWOL could probably help. We got to reach out to AWOL. Why don't we get AWOL on the show? Have him give us an AI tutorial. Why don't we do that?
Be the guy. And we talked about that. We talked about that a year ago, saying, "Oh, we should meet with AWOL and make sure we're playing with all the right toys." Can I finish with Google though? Because every time this company reports, I'm just like, I just love these guys. I just love it. So Two other big reads. Two other things I really care about when I'm looking through these reports. How much are they spending on the AI build out? $13 billion for the
Over
quarter.
what period?
The quarter.
Jesus.
Primarily focused on technical infrastructure, servers, and data centers. That's AI. That's NVIDIA's sales. And then the shareholder return for these companies. It's amazing. It's only going to get better. Activists just joined, what board was it? And they're pushing for better capital return policy, shareholder return policy. I believe it was Amazon, right? Just like last week. Anyway, $15 billion in buybacks this quarter, $2.5 billion dividends.
That's not bad. That's not nothing.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
How do you beat that?
I don't know. I
15
mean,
billion in buybacks in the quarter? Fantastic.
and we talk about how, like, the beats and the misses don't really matter. That being said, if you can come in like significantly above the estimate, that's kind of a nice little middle finger to the analysts saying, look at us. And that's what they did. I mean, they're for the EPS to beat by what, 30 cents like that, 212 versus $1.84. That's a lot. That's a big one.
These companies
That's a big beat.
These companies are powerhouses. Once they get this big, we talk about how when it comes to beating earnings, the companies that have the most levers to pull, look, they'll just go charge you more money on YouTube TV, trick me into paying for NFL ticket, whatever. Like, there's levers everywhere that these guys can pull to make sure that they beat each quarter, and they do. They do a masterful job at it.
I believe they're called accounting shenanigans.
I mean, I'm not.
Isn't that the proper nomenclature?
I wouldn't even call them that because they earn that position. You know what I mean?
Right. They have the power to do accounting shenanigans legally. So knock yourselves out.
I'm not saying it has to be accounting shenanigans, JC. It could be as simple as dragging revenue forward that maybe would have normally happened last year.
For the record, they could be perfectly legal accounting shenanigans, but shenanigans nonetheless.
Most of them are, actually. Yeah.
Most of them are, right? Of course. Yeah. I'm all for it. Listen, I do accounting shenanigans too, right?
We used to call it creative accounting, is a nice way to say it. It's
like
creative.
My AI expenses, are they business expenses? Yeah, but like, are they? Right?
What other earnings reports do we have? Dive right into some others because it's big earnings day.
Thursday, tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen, we have a one Jeff Mackey. Throw up the news slide 3 there, Spencer. Drop the link in the chat. Make sure everybody's there. We'll be there bright and early before the market even closes. We've got Google and Apple. And listen, you are welcome to go and listen to these conference calls and just assume you know what's going on. Or you can have the best in the business, Mr. Jeff Mackey, giving you the play-by-play and color commentary in real time. That choice is yours. Our partners over at Quarter are fantastic. Strazza loves them. A lot of people love to listen to the conference calls using Quarter. Shout out Quarter. But man, when you combine that with somebody who actually knows what's going on, that's pretty powerful. Jeff Mackey, old friend of ours. His father was the CEO of Target. His father's literally the guy that built Target. So the way he explains it, while other kids were playing catch in the backyard with their fathers, him and his father would go to malls and talk about retail locations. So he's been studying and analyzing retail businesses for longer than most people have been alive. So shout out Jeff Mackey.
And this is really cool because we often talk about the market reaction. Sure, like Spencer will spit out the numbers. We'll talk about the Google growth and this and that and the dividends and buybacks here and there. But we're talking about the market reaction more than anything. Now that we have Jeff, we have a street reaction perspective. So he's going to come on and care very little about the market reaction, what the stock's doing in the after hours. And he's going to tell us, oh, this was good in their report. This was bad in their report. And then we're going to have that context to use to compare to the market reaction. And that's where this really gets special.
He's going to tell us, oh, did you hear what he said there? We're buying this right here.
Maybe. Right. Or he might be like, oh, this is terrible.
Or sell it. Right. Or that was terrible.
They just, bombed their guide, they're kitchen sinking it. And then we're going to look at the reaction. Oh, look at this reversal. This thing's, paring back all those losses and turning green. That's the kind of stuff I'm.
But he can also tell us if the market is like overreacting to a certain thing, like, oh, this is like they're gonna give this all back, or no, they're gonna buy this dip, right? Because he's seen it all before. He's been there.
I don't play that game because that's tough. If the market starts reacting a certain way, you want to sit there, and fundamental people do this all the time. Oh, the market's wrong.
No,
I'm going to buy it at a lower price. Great, dude.
I'm talking about like overnight, right? I'm talking about like in the moment. I'm not talking about like anything beyond that. But
it's hard. It's really hard to question the market reaction.
Listen, I mean, it's shaky after hours. It's shaky pre-market, and then the market opens up and the adults come in the room, and then if they fix whatever needed to be fixing or continue to drive whatever was already being driven. Isn't that not how it is?
Yep.
I'm a big fan of earnings season.
Google pushing 7% here pre-market.
Great chart.
7% of 2.1 trillion it's over 140 billion overnight. It's not nothing.
And Amazon
140 billion overnight. How many companies in the world are even worth more than 140 billion? I'll tell you right now, not many.
Let me just say, boys,
money?
The Mag 7s are having a day, huh?
There are only 88 companies in the world that are worth more than what Google added to its market cap overnight.
How about the Mag 7s out here today?
That's crazy.
I mean,
think about that. There's only 80-something companies that are worth more than what Google's value increased overnight. Like, you don't think that's like...
Look at the sympathy bid that they set off with this report, though.
Well, NASDAQ, I mean, right?
The NASDAQ looks good
this morning.
Because all the Mag 7 stocks are gapping higher on Google.
Yeah, but the NASDAQ's flat this morning, though.
It shouldn't be.
It shouldn't be, but it is.
Wow. Well, just buy the Mag 7s. You don't have
Apple's down.
The Mag 7 is up 1.7%.
there.
Yeah, MGK is probably a better one. You're right, Caleb. That's the large cap or mega cap growth.
Nvidia's down. Apple's down. Amazon's up 2% going into those earnings.
They're all up. They're all gapping higher. Microsoft's up 2% pre-market. Up 2% pre-market. What are you talking about? Amazon's up 2% pre-market.
I know.
Am I looking at the charts wrong?
I just said that. You got to open your ears.
All right.
Can you throw up we got to talk about this Bitcoin. Bitcoin and Solana. Throw up that chart there, Spencer. Slide 6, please.
The flippening?
Yeah.
The flippening I care about.
So what are we thinking here? These just, first of all, they don't look bearish at all. Second of all, they look like all these other charts. Like, can you throw up that slide 7 quickly? Shows the high beta, low volatility with Bitcoin overlaid. Amazon looks exactly like this. Google did look exactly like this. Meta did look exactly like this. Nvidia, Microsoft, Apple, all of them broke out. All of them.
JC,
Amazon has not. Bitcoin has not. High beta, low volatility has not. But with all those other ones breaking out when they got here, are you going to bet that these aren't? Bitcoin isn't? Amazon isn't?
And it's even more obnoxious than that. Like, you're listening out a lot of tech stuff, a lot of growth stuff, like software looks like this. Europe looks like this. If you pull up Vanguard Europe, VGK, it's the same chart. Everything looks like this right now. We have these massive ranges that developed at the prior cycle highs, and you can make a list. We love making lists and go right on down the line. Those ranges are resolving, and they're resolving higher, not lower.
Yeah.
Bitcoin,
this one has to be next. What about the seasonals? Throw up slide 5 there, Spencer. So really? I look at this. And, when I see the resiliency in the market when it's supposed to go down, right? The worst time of the year, the worst 6 months of the year historically, all the major indexes were up double digits. Dow, S&P, NASDAQ, EEM, all of them up double digits during the 6-month period that historically they're actually supposed to fall. So fun fact, had you bought the Dow Jones Industrial Average on the day after Halloween, every single year since 1950, that was 74 years ago, the day after Halloween, November the 1st, All Saints Day, and my great-grandmother's birthday, if you bought the Dow on that day every year since 1950 and then sold on the last day of April, and you literally did that every 6 months for 74 years, you would have made no money. $0. Buying the Dow on November 1st, selling it the last day of April every year since 1950. If you just did that, you'd have 0.0 returns. I think you may have accidentally made a couple of bucks, but
zero.
Yeah, that's it.
So you're not supposed to buy in October.
All I'm saying, no, yes, you're supposed to buy in October and get yourself sober. What are you talking about?
I thought if you bought November 1st and sold April 30th, what did you just say? You made $0?
Why did I flip that?
Yeah, you
Sorry.
said.
If you bought on May 1st and sold it on Halloween. Sorry, you're right. Good catch. Yeah, that's what I meant. So if you sold it on the last day, if you bought stocks on the last day of April and sold it on Halloween every day, right? Every year since 1950, you would have made no money.
Right.
All the money in the Dow was made from November the 1st through the end of April. Sorry, you're right. Yeah.
So
right,
we
Mark.
literally go
Oh
listen.
man moment.
We literally held a master's class on seasonality yesterday on Twitter Space. So go check it out. We spent, good 30, 45 minutes just, digging through it, talking specifically about election cycle seasonality, Bitcoin seasonality, Q4 seasonality with our good friend Jeff Hirsch. So that was a lot of fun.
So if stocks couldn't fall during the worst time of the year, how do you think they're going to do when they're actually supposed to go up?
Oh, it's going to be fireworks. It's going to be a good Q4.
So here's that composite cycle. We're looking at every year since 1950. We're looking at all the election years since 1950. We're looking at all the fourth years of the decade for the decennial cycle.
Whenever something's like too good or feels too obvious to me, like I psych myself out about it. That's how I feel about a year-end rally this year. Everything is just coming together so nicely. I'm like, can we trust it? Like it's that.
Yeah, remember how clean it was when we were buying stocks so aggressively last October?
Yeah, but
the October before that.
Yeah, but JC, the setup into last October and especially the October before, those were tougher for people. First of all, nobody was on board in Q4 of 2022, right? So sentiment was great. Sentiment, you remember, historic, dumps.
Oh yeah.
Right? So that we were coming off a really, really nice level and sentiment backdrop in 2022. Last year, the market had sold off for like 3 months, and people were like, "Oh, like bull market over," or "It never even began. It's still a bear market." Remember, like it was a nasty July through October period, and then we came out of that with some nasty sentiment, and that was the fireworks. This year, it's kind of like we're just like, lollygagging, new highs, new all-time highs. Everything's working. Yay, NVIDIA, AI, Bitcoin's breaking out. I don't know. People aren't really scared. Hopefully something scary happens next week. Could that happen? Reset some things?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, not to get back into the betting odds, but it looks like this has been over.
Unreal.
Market's already been pricing in. The market's looking at holiday sales already.
Where are we going to get some volatility?
The market's looking for elections in Europe that nobody even knows is happening,
Yeah, it's crazy, right?
I mean, the market's a forward-looking discounting mechanism. If you think it isn't, then you haven't been paying attention, right?
It just things kind of feel not too good, but I like it when it's nice to come from a lower level or some sort of negative sentiment backdrop. I don't think we're really there right now. We really don't.
All right.
All right, real fast. I want to bring Kenny on, but
Bring him out.
Since we mentioned the seasonality thing, should mention that the next AAC Mastermind, which is tonight, by the way, is on seasonality. Correct, JC? Yeah, it is sentiment and seasonality. That's tonight. So I just dropped the link in the chat. If you're not in member of AAC Mastermind or Premium, then you won't get this call. Or you won't get these slides, and you won't get all
this
these.
is one of the more ambitious endeavors that we've undertaken. Really doing a 12-week mastermind. Week 4, I think, was so important that we extended it an additional week, and I'm glad we did, because we were able to add additional content there that I think really adds to the conversation. And those first 4 weeks, right? Identifying your time horizons and your objectives and your risk parameters, momentum, relative strength, and inner market analysis. Like those first 4, we can't move on to any of the other stuff unless we nail those down first. So I thought that we still needed to lean in on that a little bit more. So that's why we extended it a week. And now we can get into the supplementary stuff.
Before we go to Kenny, I heard Hindenburg in the chat Billy Cunningham. You probably don't need a short shop to put out a report to let you know that the company that is the most ridiculously overvalued and has by far the highest valuation in the market might be susceptible to downside.
It's that high PE ratio, right? That's why it was a short, right, Steve?
I'm sorry, but like, come on. Short report on SMCI. We all saw that. All right.
Let's see what Kenny's doing.
It's been a long time coming. They ain't cuffing my clock, they tugging. Putting up numbers, 99 pounds, and I still kept it 100. Hold up. Yeah.
You know those meatheads at the club?
Get some. What's up, boys? Who doesn't feel good about the
old
year-end
club out in Hampton Bays back in the day that, like, if you weren't on steroids and on crazy like drugs like ketamine, like they wouldn't let you in? It was like during the day, but it was kind of like a more chill spot at night in Hampton Bays. Anybody? What was that called?
I don't know, but I know Hampton Bays. I know.
Dude, it was scary. Some of these guys' biceps were like the size of my head and all roided up. Woo! What was the name? Neptunes. Neptunes.
Oh
You guys
my
remember
God.
Neptunes? Woo! That place was crazy.
I was the other place in Hampton Bays. Yeah, that was it. Yeah, they had all different places.
Yeah. At night, it was something else that was like a more normal establishment. But during the day, that place was like, whew, crazy.
Yes.
Yeah, shout out Billy. Billy knows. Billy knows. It's all the meatheads dancing, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I didn't even know what ketamine was. I think it's like a horse tranquilizer. Like that can't be healthy. That is not on the program.
No, if you took it up a notch, you went horse. Most of it was cat tranquilizer. But yeah, let's not talk about that. What happened now?
They're eating the dogs, Kenny.
They're eating the cat. Have you heard the reggae version of it? Tell me you have. Oh.
People of Springfield, please don't eat my dog.
Here's a list of other things to eat. That's the best. Yeah.
So
I had
good.
it on repeat. It was
all right, Kenny Glick. We got Google in the house. Are you fading Google, or are you participating?
I went the other way. I'm buying dips on AMD. You already had a faux show bro on it. Got paid. But wait, before we go any further, I've been waiting to say this. Thar she blows. THAR is your biotech of the morning. It's probably worth $4, but the symbol was phenomenal. And let me show you here. So again, with all these nonsense names, and again, we've been having some fun with them. Here is Thar she blows. Put in your pirate jokes anywhere. So again, there it is. So I don't know. I just caught it off the scanner. Next thing you know, it's breaking back over VWAP, and it was $3, and it went to $6 and change. Ridiculous. But Thar she blows, and Thar she went. Probably going to roll over and die inevitably. But you know, again, they usually have one or two more moves left in them, so I keep an eye on the one that's playing. But the easy answer is AMD. You know it, you love it, and we're in a bull market. So any chance you get a faux show bro on an earnings report, you're going to want to go and get involved anyway. So here it is. Let me just bring this chart a little bit higher. What button do I press? What happened? Oh, there it is. There it is. So again, you see how it just lipped everybody out one more time? So that's your fake out. That's your shakeout. And then when you get your little Kardashian little butt cheeks over there, back above the VWAP, bang, you're in. So again, with every trade that I'm talking about each morning, and they've all worked, by the way, we haven't had one faux show bro earnings report that's lost us money so far in basically 18 months. It's a ridiculous track record right now. But if you see it, the chart pattern form under the VWAP, and then you break the VWAP, even when the trade doesn't work, your entry point is the VWAP at 52.30. Your first stop is the first pivot, and the second one right there. So you're clearly identifying your risk. There's one stop. There's the second one. If you want to let it breathe back to the lows of the day, there they are. So every time you put a trade on, and now, you know, you have unlimited potential. You got AMD long. We've already sold some as it gets back to the prior high of the pre-market. And now we're just sitting here waiting to see if we want to hold it into the open. If it doesn't break the 154.20 soon, we might just roll. It might just roll over and die, and we cut it free and then revisit when the market opens up. So right now it's working, but the cues are, you know, you guys were just talking about the year-end rally. I mean, it's amazing we got back to 500. I would have said we weren't going to hit all-time highs, but we're so close. We missed by $1 yesterday. And again, I can't make predictions anymore. This market continues to baffle me. You know, I couldn't possibly think we weren't going to tack on another 10% in the next 3 months. But yeah, again, consolidation leads to breakout. Consolidation leads to breakout. But today, you know, maybe they're going to get some profit taking off that, you know, flirting with new highs. But, you know, staying stock specific is where it's at for us. We're in the nucleus of the market. So everything builds around there.
All right, what else is on the move, Kenny? Give us another one.
Snapchat. I'm a fan. I find the stock to be, you know, fun to trade, but you know, it already had a little upward movement. I thought here you're headed to 1250. Next thing you know, you're rolling over. It's telling us it's a short. I'm not looking to short this thing. I kind of like the app still. I don't know why. I'm a child. I like making dumb faces, but I'm gonna wait to see if this thing washes out again. It had pretty good volatility in the aftermarket, so. You got to factor 950 in this. It went to 1220, so it already tagged the top of the pre-market. Again, that's where I thought we were going to go higher. Usually, if you break aftermarket prices, you tend to go higher. This one has just fooled everybody, which is very bearish. So now I'm expecting it to pull back to 11. But right now, we're going to wait on this one. And Rambus was an amazing banger yesterday. I mean, I haven't seen Rambus move like this in 2 years. I'm still long the stock, thinking about taking profits on it because it just blew right into the green yesterday and just got accumulated all day for a 12% move. Yes, I'm looking to sell that, and I'm looking to sell some Trump today. So we shorted it yesterday, made some money on it, and I'm just looking for it to run out of steam again. It was $12.50, remember, guys, 3.5 weeks ago. It hit 57.50 yesterday, so it warrants some selling. But again, be careful with this one. This one has been crushing shorts, but yesterday you had another blow off top. And, you know, let's look to see if it follows through to the downside. So lots to look at. And if you guys are like the big stocks, Eli Lilly down a hunch, that's always interesting to me. It's still under the VWAP. You know, again, 795 is already held. It's already up 15 points. Looks like it's about to make that turn. It's Eli Lilly. Stock never goes down. So any chance you get to buy it. And Humana, again, I still think they're getting taken over. Massive sell-off on the earnings. So I'm watching this one to see if it gets back above that 259 area. Lots to look at. I go over these charts all day, all night. And speaking of all day and all night, if you're not around, if you got nothing to do on Halloween night, we're getting together, having some cocktails at the website. 8 p.m., we're going to start looking at charts. The market will be closed. We'll be talking about Apple and Amazon, zero-date options, all that stuff. So if you're free tomorrow night, stop by.
Yeah, and if you're on Kenny's free list, you should have gotten an email already about. You'll be getting another one about that. How to access the schmooze. If you're not on Kenny's free list, go to hitthebid.com, get his free daily note. He talks about these stocks and talks about how he's going to approach them today. And we'll see you there tomorrow. So,
yes, sir.
All right,
guys. It's going to be a busy 3 days. All right. Good luck, everybody.
Adios.
Cool. All right, 9:05 here. Let's bring on Sonu Varghese is our guest today. It's been a minute.
He was great in Chicago during our portfolio accelerator.
Oh, yeah, he was tremendous. We were talking about I felt smart by like association, just like, you know, being able to like pass the ball back to him and he would like pass it back to me, and I'm like, oh, look at me. All right, Sonu Varghese, global macro strategist at Carson Group. Let's bring him on.
Jay, we've been friends for a long time. Make the call.
I mean, this is pretty professional, guys.
Nice show you got going here.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, Sonu, what's up, my man?
How are you? I'm good. Good.
I just
getting ready for Halloween.
I just want to say how much happier I am to have you than Ryan Dietrich. I mean, you know.
I don't know if he's listening, but, you know, I'll take that as flattery. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, enough with Ryan Dietrich, right? We need Sonu in here. No, I'm just kidding. We love Ryan. Love you, Ryan. We got to get him on. Sonu and Ryan work together. Pretty killer combo. Before we get into the markets, how did Carson, you know, how is Carson so fortunate to have both of you on the squad? How did that happen?
I don't know, serendipity, I think. You know, like we had our CEO come on, current CEO, Bert White, come on, and you know, as a chief strategy officer, and he was reading my stuff. He's like, "Wait a minute, I think you'll get along really well with this guy I know." And do you happen to know Ryan Dietrich? I was like, of course I know Ryan Dietrich. I mean, from Twitter, how could you not know?
Who doesn't know Ryan Dietrich?
Yeah. So he was like, maybe you should bring him on. I said, really? I was like, okay. And long story short, that's how it happened.
Ryan Dietrich, the only Cincinnati Bengals fan that anybody knows. Nobody knows any other Cincinnati Bengals. Supposedly there are others out there. I don't know if I believe it.
Maybe his sons. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So Sonu, we are now well over 2 years into this bull market. Credit spreads are as tight as they've been this entire time. Participation among stocks and sectors is as broad as it's been. You tell me otherwise if you see anything differently. And what you specifically bring to the table is a little different dynamic than what maybe a Ryan Dietrich would bring to the table, or myself. You look at the market from a different perspective. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on all of that.
Yeah, I think it's mostly macro. I think the big story over the last month, I mean, obviously we had this bull market going for 2 years. And I like to look at it from, okay, what's driven that, right? It's profit growth. Right? You look at companies banging out profit growth like no tomorrow. And that's been positive. Yes, you can pick pockets where there's, some uncertainty and things like that. But there's always that, right? You look at, forget the last 2 years, take the last 5 years, all right? 5 years shy of 1 quarter. Market's up about 94%, right? The S&P 500 is up 94% in 4 years and about 10 months. Of that, most of that has come from profit growth, close to 58, 60 percentage points of that. Another 14 percentage points has come from dividends, right? Companies giving back profits to shareholders. And so this is not really a valuation story. Everyone asks, like, is this too stretched? Can the bull market really last longer? Is it? Yeah, of course it can, because we haven't even gotten to the part of the bull market where people are not worried about valuations at all. I was just talking to someone yesterday. Every conversation I have is like, oh, what about valuations? What about valuations, right? That just tells you that people are worried about, sentiment is not quite positive. I mean, you look at, near-term measure of sentiment, maybe that's stretched a little bit, but that's, broaden the horizon a little bit. And
when people tell it, people start telling you valuations don't matter because multiple expansion during good time. When they start saying that sort of stuff,
exactly. Yeah. That's when things are really stretched. We are nowhere close to that, right? I mean, that's my perspective on this whole thing. I think it's driven by profit growth. And look, we were talking about what could push this market higher. You've got momentum. You've got seasonality kick in. Seasonality was a headwind, supposed to be a headwind in September and October. It wasn't, right? Despite rates going up, we can talk about that too. But now we're getting into the best 3 months, the best 6 months for the markets. And, that's positive. The VIX is elevated too. That's not a surprise given, election uncertainty and things like that. But what happens?
Is that what you think it is?
It's always the case, right? But like if you looked at the VIX futures curve, I think I have a chart on this, that I sent Spencer. But if you look at the VIX futures curve from 6 months ago, right? There's the blue line, basically. That's from 6 months ago. October VIX futures were elevated. That's because people are buying up election insurance, right? But what happens after that? Look, if someone's buying insurance, right, that's when the VIX goes up and things like that. I think that's happening. We have several. I know several clients who are doing that too. They're buying option hedges, right? They put in puts on the index, things like that. So they're essentially taking away market exposure. What happens to the dealers or on the other side? They're selling. They're gaining market exposure, right? They're getting beta, and they don't want to be, taking a bet, a directional bet one way or the other. And so what do? They short the index. But think of what happens after the election. All of these hedges come off, which means all these short positions on the index also start coming off. And that starts to put upward pressure on the index, assuming, we get results and things like that, right? So if we get a bit of a rally after the election, I think we could be off to the races simply because of function of where VIX is right now. It's elevated as that comes down. Historically, we've seen markets rally as the VIX comes down. I think we could see more of that.
Can you throw up before we get into the inflation expectations? Can you go into slide 17 and bring up the rates? Because Sonu, what I find a lot of this stuff to be funny, and I'm here to make myself laugh in most cases. And I just think it's hilarious that the interest rates have gone straight up since the Fed started lowering interest rates. Like, I understand the duration are different and everything like that, but it is pretty hysterical that rates have gone straight up since the Fed started lowering rates. Can you talk a little bit about that, please?
I think it's a story of strong, better growth expectations, right? And maybe it's the chart on the right, which is the City Economic Surprise Index. Since August, it's up 70 points. 70 points. We've had, look, what happened since the Fed meeting on September 18th? I think it's September 18th, right? The Fed put a cap on the unemployment rate. They said, we don't want the unemployment rate to go above 4.4%. What does that mean? They're basically putting a floor on the economy, which means there's kind of a floor on profit growth, right? And then we got GDP and GDI revisions, which showed strong economic momentum. We got September payrolls. 10-year yields went up 9 basis points just on that day. CPI was slightly harder than expected. So I think everyone's expecting core PCE to come in close to 0.3%. Retail sales came in strong, right? We just got GDP growth, by the way, this morning, 3.5% final demand. If you take out inventories and exports and things like that, which is volatile, right? That's well above the pre-pandemic trend of about 2.5, 2.8%. Initial claims have continued to be low. So all of this is, I think, driven, rate cut expectations have come down, right? Before the Fed meeting, I think markets are expecting about 8 more rate cuts through the end of 2025. That's fallen back to 5 rate cuts. And just by the function of that, I think that's why yields are up. It's a positive growth story, right? And you see that in stocks. Good news is good news. Stocks have gone up too.
All right, let's talk about the inflation, because that's the other side of the coin. Like, are rates going up because, high economic and, expectations and everything's so great. So of course rates should go up. And then the other side of the argument is like, dude, Fed's lowering rates keep going up. What does that mean for inflation? Oh my God, the Fed's behind the curve, pun intended. The world's going to come to an end. Where does that fairy tale fit into the equation?
Look, if oil's below, I'll put it this way, if oil's below $70 a barrel, I'm not too worried about inflation here. And I know the Fed takes out energy and food, but energy goes into even core inflation it goes into food prices, diesel, things like that, transportation, airfares, all of that, right? That's in core PCE or even core CPI as well, right? And you saw airfares have an impact even in September CPI. So as long as energy prices are down, it makes me feel better about inflation. But even look at the market expectations, right? Break evens. You look at nominal yields minus real yields.
Throw that up, Spencer. Throw up that slide 16.
There you go. So nominal yields of like the 5-year nominal yields are up, 50, 60 basis points. 10-year yields are up about 60 basis points as well since the Fed meeting, going back to your point. But real yields have gone up too, right? Not as much as nominal yields, which means break-even inflation expectations for 5 years have gone up to about 2.3%. So now this is CPI expectations, right? CPI tends to run harder than PCE, which is what the Fed targets. And it usually runs harder by about 35, 40 basis points or so. So when you see 2.3% for break-evens, that's basically on target, 2% target for PCE inflation. The market's saying inflation has normalized, inflation's okay. You're not expecting a big surge in inflation. I think the missing picture here, at least I think a lot of people miss, is growth is strong. Why is inflation low? That's because we have strong productivity growth.
Listen,
did I stump you?
I personally couldn't tell you whether it's an inflation thing or an earnings thing. But what you said about oil really resonates. Mm-hmm. Isn't oil inflation?
Yeah. We saw that. Like, in a lot of respects, yes, because look, proof's in the pudding, right? What happened in 2022? Oil went up, and then the Fed, you could say the Fed panicked, all of that. Remember, we got that Wall Street Journal article. Instead of 50 basis points at the June meeting, we're going to get 75 now. And that was because oil prices went up. It wasn't because core inflation was, it was a surprise. Core inflation had been going up since 2021, right? So that was already part of the puzzle there. But it was really energy prices. Now, energy prices went up because of Russia-Ukraine war, all of that. But still, I think energy matters a big deal. And like I said, as long as energy is below, oil prices are below $70 a barrel, I mean, even $80 a barrel, I don't think we have an inflation problem.
Well, we talked about the best 3-month period starting on Friday. We talked about the worst 6-month period. Stocks have been up double digits on all of the major indexes, including emerging markets, not just NASDAQ, Dow, and S&P. So let's get right to slide 22 here, where we're looking at the higher VIX equals higher odds for a post-election rally. You brought a couple of slides on this. This is what I'm mostly interested in, right? I'm forward-looking. I don't care who your president is, at least not for stock market decisions. Care about the data. So walk me through the things that matter here.
Absolutely. I mean, historically, what have we seen? VIX moves, changes in VIX are inversely correlated to, what happens with the S&P 500. VIX goes up, S&P 500 goes down, VIX goes down, S&P 500 goes up. That's what you see on the left-hand side chart. The right-hand side chart is basically a version of that. If VIX changes, if it moves down by more than 5 points, something like that, you could see big upward moves in the index and all the way to the other side, right? It's actually interesting how neatly it goes from top to bottom. And usually, of course, the question is, okay, what's the VIX going to do, right? Because we don't know what the VIX will do, except after big events like the elections, right? Assuming nothing crazy happens, you get results and things like that, VIX should come down, right? At least the odds favor the VIX coming down, which, as you can see in this chart, tells you that there should be a rally. Historically, we've kind of seen that as well. So I think if you look at past, 3-month periods, post-election 3-month period, 6-month period, we've seen market rallies. I mean, except in 2001 and 2008, right? Those are the big ones. But then we were in the middle of a recession as well, right? Which is certainly not the case now.
And then look at the post-election. Look at the table there. So here we're looking at returns during bullish times in an election. This goes back to 1950. How are you defining bullish times?
Bullish times during an election. I think that this is from my friend Brian. I mean, if the market's up during that year, right? So if the market's up year to date, and then going into November and November, June, and then November, April, next 3 months, next 6 months, election years. Right. But I think it's all election years, actually, looking at 52, 56, it's all election years. And that average November to Jan number is about 4%. You take out 2000 and 2008 when we were in the middle of a recession, it jumps up to 5.7%. That's pretty strong for 3 months. And then you look at the 6-month picture, it's about 7.4% once you take out 2000 and 2008.
Yeah, also strong. I know. I love this, by the way. I know you didn't bring a gold chart, unless I'm mistaken.
I was thinking of putting that. I should have put that.
That's okay. It's okay. But I just want to hear your thoughts. If you want to pull this off, you can pull it off, Spencer. I want to hear your thoughts on gold. There's this misconception. There's like serial killers out there that get very, very sad when gold prices are rallying to the point where they don't buy stocks in the middle of a bull market because it makes them so sad that gold prices are going up, which I don't know. I always found that so weird. We've seen gold not only go up, but outperform stocks in bull markets for stocks. So I don't know. That always seemed weird. Can you speak to that? What are your thoughts on higher gold prices? Is that a reason to not own stocks and fight bull markets or embrace them together? Like, how do you think about that? How do you talk to advisors about that?
We're in the camp to embrace them together, right? In fact, do you remember the SVB crisis was back in March of last year, March of 2003?
Crisis.
Yeah, crisis, right. Yeah, in quotes, crisis. And during that time, we were like, we didn't like treasuries at the time, to be honest. We thought we were in the middle of a bull market. So you're like, wait, we want some sort of hedge in the portfolio. And we bought gold at the time, right? We kept our overweight to equities. We didn't remove, I think we ended up buying financials during that time. So we actually increased our equity overweight during that SVB crisis. And we increased gold as well, gold exposure. We actually got into gold. And of course, gold is at a great run. Couple of things that happened. I think one is with respect to real interest rates. Gold has historically been correlated or inversely correlated with real yields. As real yields came down, gold has gone up. I think that's had a bit of a tailwind this year. But the other thing I think is gold is a global commodity, right? You think about there's a lot of buying pressure from China and India. Now, I think it's different why gold is being bought in China versus India. India, as long as the economy is strong, you have a lot of weddings. I'm originally from India as well. But people buy gold, right? That's what happens. But in China, I think it's because the economy is slowing down. historically, Chinese households have bought real estate to save money and products, investment products tied to real estate. Now, real estate is going down. How home prices are going down, so there's not much demand there. And so I think a lot of Chinese households, you're seeing a lot of demand from China, right? Chinese households. I mean, there is a Chinese central bank, and central banks buying gold. You never know what else they're doing. But households buying, I think that's real demand, right? So, and we've seen a lot of that from China. I think that continues as long as, I think that's a weak Chinese economic growth is positive for gold as well, because, Chinese households have to save and they're buying gold for that.
Where in India are you from?
South India, Kerala. So southwest coast originally. Yep.
I don't know. I maybe this is racist or wrong. I just like, you seem a little bit light for South India, right? Like your skin.
Maybe
is
it's
that wrong?
light. I don't know. Maybe it's just the ring light in front of me, but I think it's par for the course. So
yeah, I love India. I mean, every time I visited, it is unbelievable. India's like 12 different countries. And like by different countries, like you can argue that it's like different planets. Like some of these areas are so different to one another. Can you speak to that a little bit?
Yeah, like even if you go from, say Ohio to Indiana to Illinois, that's not much. You get your Denny's off I-65, you get Bob Evans and things like that. In India, you cross the border and it's a different language, totally different language. Like I cannot understand the language if I go from, say it's not even like if you go from France to Spain, it's still the same text. Maybe you understand the cadence a little bit, but India, you go step across the state, once you get, say, 20 miles after the border, totally different language, food, clothes, all of that, right? And you have like 25, 26 of these, entities all across the country. So like my wife is, if she hears me speaking my mother tongue to my parents, she has no idea. I could be speaking Japanese, right? She has no idea what I'm saying, right? But that just gives you a sense of, how different things are there.
I've always wanted to head down there. I haven't been, unfortunately. Spent more time in the north. I love Mumbai so much. Can you speak to maybe the equities market in India as somebody who might be a little bit more familiar? You see something like the Nifty 50 and the Nifty 500 just skyrocketing, Bank Nifty, trading at the highest multiples of any of the banks around the world, continuing to act well. Like, number one, what do you think about those Indian equities? Is it a fair conclusion there that these lines are going up, or is there a currency thing happening there? Number one. And number two, how do you think that these Indian markets are impacting the rest of the world? Is there information there that the rest of us can take, or is it kind of like in isolation, like its own thing?
India is kind of its own thing because of how, I think China tends to dominate the EM story. India is less talked about. But I'll bring this the next time I'm on here if you'll have me back. Like a chart of the Indian stock market going back to like 94, right?
Yeah.
And compare that to S&P 500. Compare that to the Chinese stock market. The Chinese stock market was flat, including dividends and all of that. Maybe it's up 7% total return. I think the S&P 500, this is just off the top of my head, maybe it's up 500% or something. The Indian stock market is probably more than twice that. And that's after accounting for currency. Right. Yes, the currency is going down. That's always going to be a headwind, I think, in India. It imports more than exports. So there's a deficit issue, things like that. And it imports a lot of oil. So that's another issue. India doesn't produce a lot of oil, right? So that's always going to be a problem. I think the currency headwind is likely to be there. But Indian stocks, right? I joke that, look, my parents never invested in the stock market, and they should have. They bought real estate and gold. All right. Speaking of, you were just talking about gold as well. That's what most Indians do. So I think there's always that extra risk premium in Indian markets because it has to be so much more attractive for Indians for them to invest in there, as opposed to like traditional savings vehicles of real estate and gold.
And like we joke, like funny, haha, Indians love to buy gold and everything. How real is that? Like, how much is that actual Indian demand, Indian wedding season? Like how real is that? Can you is it a funny haha or is there something there?
No, there's something there, I think. But it's always there, right? In the sense that, India is 1.3, 1.5 billion people.
Oh, is that all?
Yes, that's all. But and wedding season means, this is like we're going into Diwali. Diwali is on Halloween, right? Like, so October 31st, that you have a lot of demand during that time, but you always have a lot of demand. Then it's just a matter of, okay, how much better is the economy doing? Which means people have more money, so they probably spend more on weddings. So it's a function of that, right? Which is a little different from, like I said, the China gold story. But I think it's real. Yeah, it's absolutely real. And, gold is a form of savings. It's mostly jewelry. They don't go, I don't honestly know a lot of Indian folks who actually go out and buy gold coins, right? I have bought gold coins in the past. I don't have them
You don't
anymore.
think the Indian folks are buying like the Trump gold coins on like Fox?
Ones in
They're not buying those?
Yeah, no, I don't
No.
think so.
Jewelry
Jewelry is a big thing, right?
That's right. That's right. All right. Best Indian meal, like entree.
Oh,
Maybe
wow.
not best, but your favorite.
My favorite. I have to pick. I'm from down south, the Southwest. I like the beef roast that we make down south with coconut.
Beef roast.
Yeah, beef roast with coconut. That's what I like. Yeah.
And then
With some
I
rice.
haven't, but Sonu, in my travels to India, which have been plentiful over the years, not a lot of beef.
No, it's almost sacrilegious to say that.
Not almost. I think it is. I think it. I mean, I'm not Indian. You are, but I'm pretty sure that is sacrilegious. And,
I am the one saying that. So, but yeah, no, we get beef. That's just one state, which is where I'm from, down south in India, that you get beef, and
Is that the state where the beef is? Because I go to Delhi and you got the cows just walking in the middle of the highway, like in their own lane, like they think they're a car.
Yeah, no, there are no cows walking around. No, I was joking, but there are cows there. But no, we like our beef and beef roast with coconut and all of that. It's pretty
Beef
good.
roast and cook. And what's your favorite dessert?
Oh,
Ras malai?
I like gulab jamuns, but I prefer American desserts. I like chocolate, and we don't do a lot of chocolate in India, so I prefer the chocolate here.
All right, the gulab jamun. Those are those balls, right?
Yeah, yes, with the syrup, with the little bit of milk. So there you go.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Sonu, happy Diwali, and we hope that your candlesticks light up your charts, my friend.
There you go. Cheers, man. Thank you. Pat.
Adios.
Thanks, Sonu.
Dude, Indian holidays are freaking awesome, dude. Just sending like candles up into the air.
We have some Indians in my neighborhood, and last year with the fireworks caught me off guard. Not gonna lie, didn't know what was going on at 11 o'clock at night. But
let me tell you something. These Indians can party. These Indians can eat, dude. Except that whole beef thing. It's fascinating. I haven't spent any time in the South. I feel like such an idiot. Beef down in the South, I can get down with that because in Mumbai, you ain't gonna get it. And if you do, you probably don't want to eat it, in my experience. My friends in Mumbai, they travel a lot and they only eat at steakhouses. So like if they go to London or Europe, it's steakhouse every night. They go to Asia, steakhouse every night, and then they go back to India, no more steaks.
All right, let's talk some more stocks here. Do we have that AMD chart floating around? I think we do. It just opened down like 9%.
Yeah, throw it up, slide 13 there.
On their report. What did they say? Let's see. The numbers, they beat, right? But it wasn't like the Google's beat, which was huge. This was just like a kind of run of the mill beat for AMD. Let me just read you some stuff here. Data center segment up 122% year over year. There's $3.5 billion in total. I think they gave some guidance. That was, where was the guidance at? Why can't I find it right now?
Whatever it is, if this thing's below those former highs from late 21, you can't own it, right? Isn't it that simple?
I'm so done with this stock, dude. I have been so patient with this name.
I mean, it'll probably get going eventually, but if you're below 165, there's nothing to talk about.
It's a laggard. And guess what else is becoming a laggard group? Semiconductors.
Yeah, the guidance was a little bit light. That's what it was. The revenue guidance.
Been a laggard for a minute, so it's not anything new.
Dude, Reddit is up 100% from the August lows, up 30% today.
Hold on. One more thing before we get into the Reddit, because this is a good point. On the semiconductors, granted, they've been laggards for, 6 months or so or whatever, whenever the peak was, right? It's 6 months or so. Maybe a little bit less, maybe 4 months, 5 months.
on an equal weight basis, to be fair, semiconductors have not outperformed for 4.5 years.
But hold on, but we don't live in an equally weighted world. We live in a market cap weighted world, number one, and we've talked about this. Number two, semiconductors tripled this bull market before the recent underperformance since the summer. So to be fair, it's been a well-deserved consolidation. I think you can agree there.
For sure. If you were in them and you've been in them for the whole cycle, you've done great. And maybe like you said, JC, that was their bull market. They've already made their gains. You look at something like home builders out here this week, and you can start to think the same, I think. Right.
I was thinking about those homies and, getting back to your point about how the homies are more like industrials. They certainly keep trading like industrials, do they not?
They are industrials.
I know you always say that, and they're looking like them too.
They have a stronger correlation with XLI than XLY. Super micro. Let me just give this read because it seems like this is what everybody wants to talk about today.
This is a doozy.
Yeah, no, this is good. Listen, this is getting interesting. I love it when a Big Four auditor has to bounce, and it often always goes this way, where nothing comes out. The auditor just leaves because the company has made it so that the auditor really can't do their job anymore. Right. And the risk
and this is what happened at Reddit?
No.
Oh.
Reddit's up 30% right now. I'm talking about the one that's down 30%. So the chair of the audit committee discussed with Ernst & Young the reasons.
SMCI.
SMCI. Go ahead.
So this is a long-standing saga now about their revenue recognition. It's been going on. The audit committee discussed with EY the reasons for EY's resignation. The company has begun the process of identifying a successor, independent registered public accounting firm. The company will authorize Ernst & Young, they have to respond fully to the inquiries of the successor independent registered public accounting firm once selected. The company does not currently expect that the resolution of any of the matters raised by EY or under consideration by the special committee, as noted below, will result in any restatements of quarterly reports for the fiscal year 2024 ending June 30th, 2024, or for prior fiscal years. So they're digging their heels in with the stock down 30% right now and saying, we're not restating anything. We may have had a disagreement with our auditor about how things should be accounted for, but we have no plans to restate any of our past earnings reports. So, and that's really been the message from them all along, right, Spencer? It's not the first time we've discussed this. So,
SMCI, how about that?
Listen,
remember this thing back in the day? It was like all the rage there,
Parabolic uptrends don't just end in an orderly fashion. But we were talking about this last year when we were, oh God, you didn't want to chase this thing. It looked crazy all year last year, and it still looks crazy now, just in the opposite direction. So
yeah, lowest levels of the year. This thing peaked a long time ago.
Can we agree that SMCI?
These are called. Are these? You know what these are? People are called. People that own this stock. They're called bag holders. So if you were ever wondering what a bag holder is, it's the people that own SMCI.
If they don't have to restate anything, I guess theoretically it's possible they could come back. Anything's possible. Can we agree that
Can
we agree that SMCI is not coming back if SMH is not making new highs, breaking out left, right, and center?
What does SMI have to do with SMH?
It's a semiconductor, but I think this one's just going to do it.
SMCI is a semiconductor? No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
Yes, it is.
So
is it?
So here's the thing about charts, about stock charts. We talked about this top and super micro all year.
It's computer hardware. Where are you guys getting this semiconductor thing?
This is a semiconductor thing. It's
all AI, man.
They do stuff for chips. This is the AI thing.
I guess it's a hardware company, so I don't know where you're getting the semis.
You sit here and you talk shit about the people who come up with these classifications, and then you like rail against us that this
fair enough. Fair enough. Like, I'll give you that. Okay. I love you guys.
See that it says computer systems.
We are
right
family.
On screen. But when I think of this company, it's a semiconductor.
Is it? Okay, so they do hardware for semiconductors, basically.
I don't care. Yes.
Oh, no, okay. It's a semiconductor stock.
All right. Here's what matters, though, about Supermicro. We were pounding the table on this one saying, hey, what's going on with this AI theme back this summer? We're saying Supermicro is completing a top. That's strange. That was 55% to go. The chart was screaming at us, you can't own this back in July when it was completing a top. It's down 55% from here. If you still own it, JC, bag holder, yes, would be, I think, the appropriate term. 100%. Can't own this.
Apparently, they make
Hindenburg.
servers.
Hindenburg's writing short reports. You can't own it.
I like looking for longs where the angry short sellers are living.
The ultimate troll. Yeah.
It's not a troll. It's just
I just think
idea
it's
flow. Like I had Patrick and Strazza at the sushi joint the other day, like losing their shit because I go to Perma Bears for long ideas.
Yeah. I listen. It's so you. I don't hate it.
But I don't understand why that's a troll.
You're
Isn't
gonna
that just like smart or common sense or strategic?
I think
troll?
you're obviously going to piss people off, and you know that, and I think it kind of makes you like it.
Strazza, when am I not pissing people off, man?
Yeah, but this is just like this is pretty direct.
Is it?
I don't know.
Going to angry short sellers for
I'm
short ideas?
all
For long ideas?
for it. I'm all for it. Let's get
Why
rid
do
of
you think
all
I'm
of
always asking on Twitter for everyone's favorite short ideas? Where do you think I'm getting all my longs? Crowdsourcing, baby.
I don't know why I would be butthurt over anything to do with Supermicro. I haven't been involved. I got stopped out a couple times earlier this year.
We had a trade earlier this year that worked out very well. And then I kind of just have been watching it ever since because then it went parabolic and, it was a hard trade and then it hasn't done anything. So I haven't been in this since the beginning of the year. But then we had a good one at the beginning when it was an easier entry.
Dude, when you write a short report every week, guys, yeah, I hope they're right on some of them.
I don't
Right?
care whether they're right or not. Why do you hope that they're right on some of them?
No, the guys in the chat are saying everybody trashes them, but they're right again. Yeah, they're shorting a stock every week in a bull market. So they're going to get some right. Great strategy. Listen, some of us just come up with these ideas. What an idea. Let's go shorting crazy. Some of the highest momentum names in the middle of a bull market. I want to see their trading account. Losers.
Yeah, but some of these are not super high momentum names. Like some of these things like are barely even moving. It's not always like that.
They're just in the clicks business, like a lot of us.
You think so?
Just mask it as something else. Yeah, dude, they're just trying to
You
get
think
on
these
TV.
short sellers are in the clicks business?
Yeah. They want people to read their shit, short it, pile on, and help their trades. It's a tough.
Yeah. All right.
They're in the blow up and get investigated by the SEC business too.
Man, that is just if you're gonna like tweet things out and write things and then trade around those things and like literally do illegal things, you're gonna get caught. Like you're gonna be some kind of moron. No,
there's a lot of dirtbags on Wall Street.
There's a lot of dirtbags outside of Wall Street too, for the record. But like, why do people think that they're not going to get caught? Like, it's all in the tape. It's all electronic. Like, I don't understand.
These are like the top dog dirtbags. You can't out dirt these short seller dirtbags.
Like, what's that guy? Cranes, not Cranes. Chronos, not Chronos. What is the guy?
Citron.
That's it.
Isn't he in jail?
Right? Like, if you name your firm after like a vodka. Like, that's not going to end well.
Yeah.
Right? Like, these SEC people were like,
hey,
Citron, this guy? Come on.
Sometimes they're right.
He was asking for it, wasn't he?
Sometimes they're right. Hindenburg's been on a bit of a heater the last couple of years. Not right every time, but right enough to, make a nice little not for himself. So you want to talk about their Reddit, which is up 30% this morning? I don't know if we have the chart, but the revenue, the EPS, very nice beat. The daily active users increased 68%. I'm sorry, daily active users was up 47% year over year. The revenue increased 68% year over year. That's pretty big for a company of Reddit size, and also just like in their business, which is advertising. They were in the ads business, so 68% year over year increased revenue is pretty freaking nice.
This is markets are hard. So I was in this one waiting for the breakout. You got in it too, Spencer. A lot of us were, but that was like
that was like 4 months ago.
That was before like a 35% drawdown. So I don't hang out for that kind of shit. So I'm out of it. Then it reset up. I was I just looked at it. I'm like, oh damn. But I was just in my account like control finding RDDT. Like, do I still own it? No.
That was the middle. That was the middle of July is when that was. Yep. Oh well.
I believe it's Ciroc, right?
Is that the Diddy vodka?
Yeah, it's the Diddler.
No, Citron.
Citron. Oh,
Citron
I
is
think it's
like
an absolute citron, if I'm not mistaken.
well,
I can't drink that shit.
he,
I can't drink.
he named it originally. It was stock lemon, and then he went from lemon to citron. You know,
Yeah,
there's
like citron vodka, like in the hood, like you'll see them drinking that like
The
Like what-
only
the guys with like the snakes around their neck, like in Hoboken, like in that back hood in Hoboken that you don't go into. That's what they're drinking there.
going to Hoboken,
the
supposedly.
only lemon I want to talk about is the Lululemon. The Lululemon, not a top, just fantastic. Great American brand.
I don't think
Great American brand, one of the better shorts we had this year for sure.
I don't think we have that chart handy.
But look at that monster top that is not turning into a top. Do we have it handy?
I'm shorting things. I'm shorting things today. I'm shorting things. You want to know what I'm shorting? I'm really.
What do you got?
It might not be today. I don't know, but shorts will be happening soon in my account. The GLP-1s, it's over. Forget about it. I've been waiting all my life to short these things. I can't wait. Novo, bad miss. What, earlier this week? I don't know. Sometimes I'm up in the middle of the night. I'm watching the European financial TV. So I was hearing about their earnings report. No bueno. Now
What channel in Europe are you watching out of curiosity?
I watched like the European exchange, like the market open. If I'm up in the middle of the night.
What channel is this?
A CNBC Worldwide.
CNBC Worldwide is a channel?
Bloomberg covers it too. Yeah. It's like the other CNBC.
How many CNBCs are there?
I don't know if there's one for Asia. I don't think so. Bloomberg does a great job with Asia.
So you're in the middle of the night watching European business networks.
Talking about Novo Nordisk. Yeah, I'm going to pay attention. Sure.
Dude, that is some junky status, bro.
Anyway, this is a monthly momentum crossover. These are very reliable signals in terms of momentum crossovers. We're using the monthly for that reason. You tend to get very, very, very few false signals. I can draw tops on both of these charts right now, or at least the formation of topping patterns. I would say NVS has already you're looking at Novo Nordisk. NVS is completing one now. That's not a GLP-1. NVO completed its top, I don't know, a couple weeks back, late September, early October. So this top is in. Lilly, I think, follows, right? Novo Nordisk leading to the downside. These are the two big GLP-1 players. I think Lilly follows here. Bombed its earnings report today, down about 13% here. Oversold for the first time since early 2023. Things are changing for these.
This is great because I only hear terrible stories. I told you about a friend of mine.
Yeah.
She was on these fat pill drugs and, dehydrated, passed out, bumped her head against she was out cold for 2 hours because her husband was passed out on the couch.
Not from the drug.
Same sense. People, if you're listening out there, you don't need to take fat pills. Like you could just exercise and not eat like a slob, right? It's not that hard. So these companies, I hope they all go bankrupt, get sued. They're killing people out there. You suck, Eli Lilly. And you Danish people with your Novo, you suck even more.
This has been one of those things. I know we've talked about it. I've probably been obnoxious about it, but you could just see it. It's like ESG was. Like everyone's supporting this movement. Even the guys on TV, the reporters, everybody's saying nice things. Everybody's trying to. So many people are making money off of this wonder drug situation. Investors too. Everybody's looking the other way.
Every single doctor out there is going out there telling people not to take this crap.
Can you agree that there are some people should take the stuff, like real use cases, whether diabetes or if you have like a
fine. I don't know, why can't you just like exercise and not eat like a slob? Like, why do you need to take drugs?
Yeah, but there is a minority out there that really does need this drug.
I'll leave that up to the doctors. I'm not a doctor, but I do have common sense.
And Spencer, but that's not what these companies want these drugs to be.
Of course not. Of course not. I think
addressable market they're interested in. They want.
I feel like this is always like I feel like we were always heading to this point where there's a pill for that. There's going to be a pill for everything. There's going to be a pill to get fat. You want to get fat? There's going to be a pill for that too.
And listen, I just want to say kudos to us as chart people. This is a story that fundamentally, JC, you and I have been skeptical of for a long time, right? We have not been believers in this, but we've been long, Eli.
We have been long.
Novo Nordisk, while we talk shit about it, right?
That's right. That's right. Just to show you that we put our biases aside.
Right. We're just here to make money. Now that the trend is confirming some of this, sketchy business that we believed has been going on. Let's go. I'll short the hell out of these things.
Yeah. Terrible people, terrible companies. And those of you like buying this stuff and taking it, shame on you. You're hurting yourself. You're hurting your family.
Yeah, don't take these drugs.
Real fast. Fonz, why don't you pop up slide 12? Another big night tonight. We got Microsoft, we got Meta, we got Coinbase, Robinhood, Riot, Roku, Starbucks, eBay, DoorDash, Carvana, KLAC. We got some names tonight. And then tomorrow morning, Uber.
This is the best week.
Yeah.
This is literally the best week. Today is really one of my favorite days. Don't we even, where's the DraftKings? We got Coinbase. Where's Shopify? We got DoorDash today. We got Carvana. Look at this. I love the IoT. I've been listening to those also. Yeah, this is really my week for earnings. Intel, nobody cares about. Literally, nobody even thinks about them anymore.
Shopify is next week, dude. And then what'd you say? DraftKings?
When is DraftKings?
They're next week also.
Okay, so then DraftKings and Shopify are around the same time. So we got Coinbase and Robinhood today. That'll be fun. Caterpillar's also a big one. Caterpillar's a big one.
Yeah, Cat was getting the beats this morning. It's down 4% now. So
yeah, GE did that last week, right?
Yeah.
All right. So listen, industrials deserve a little bit of cooling off here. Yeah.
JC, it has been a minute since we've done the hot corner on the show. You want to do the hot corner right now?
There's not really much going on this morning. If you want to show it how there's not much going on.
Yeah, I was going to say.
I don't see anything.
Real quick, I could say something quickly about New Oriental.
Yeah, bring it up.
Yeah, all right, let's bring it up.
So hot right now.
And just so you know, you guys make fun of me. I'm literally sitting here while I have the TV on, like even when we're doing the show. I don't miss anything during earnings season. So the one
I just don't understand how you watch basic cable television during the day.
Oh, it's news.
And like you're not losing your mind. Maybe that is why you're losing your mind, actually.
No, I just like to know what's going on.
So why don't you just look at the price action instead of listening to like journalists?
Because I like to know the price action within the context of the narrative.
Oh,
yeah. It is. It's it's tiring sometimes.
I was gonna say I'd rather make less money than have to sit there listening to that like torture.
Never. EDU, New Oriental Education and Technology Group. This is one of those sketchy online education companies based out in Beijing. So these companies were in like 99% drawdowns, revenue recognition issues, talk about accounting problems, right? Back from the dead. Beautiful bases completed late 2022. These were early leaders out of China. This one in particular has worked as good as anything. Maybe just PDD and Tencent Music would be on the list of like the best stocks off of the bear market lows for China. If those bear market lows you were considering back in 2022 when the rest of global equities bottomed. Okay, so this looks like a top within the context of what's been a really strong and persistent uptrend for the past couple of years. The Singapore Sovereign Wealth Fund, who's very, very active with some of these growthy, techie Southeast Asian stocks. We are really loving following this GIC Private Limited. They just boosted their stake, very material amount, 2.5%. So there's about 50% of what they owned. They tacked on an additional. So they went from 5% of outstanding shares to about 7.5% of outstanding shares. This is a very material position for them. This one really stood out. This is probably not a top. We just had these massive historic momentum thrusts out of China. This has been one of the strongest stocks in China. I want to bet that this is definitely not a top, just like we bet that the home builders were not tops and the semiconductors were not tops and everything else wasn't a top out here this year. This is also a market leader. It's a leader in China, and this is probably not a top. I like EDU. I think you get that confirmation around 81.
Back to earnings quickly. You talked about Uber tomorrow morning. Why don't you throw up that slide?
Le Uber.
The Uber. Let's keep in mind that the Uber was added to a 1 Dow Jones Transportation Average back in February. They kicked out JetBlue. And here's the Uber making new all-time highs, and the Dow Jones Transportation Average still has not.
I don't believe in this whole Uber or Tesla, Uber versus Tesla, zero-sum robo-taxi situation.
Is that a thing?
Yeah, Uber's up 10% on bad news for the robo-taxi, good news for the robo-taxi, Tesla's gapping higher, Uber's down big, right? I don't think this is zero-sum at all. I think these companies probably end up working together. I know that's not the narrative right now, right? Tesla thinks they're going to do everything all on their own. I don't know. Once you get a player who's just entrenched in an industry like this, it's hard to move him out of the way. And with every day that passes, and I don't see a real robo-taxi, right? Just promises from Elon Musk. I think Uber is solidifying their position more and more and more. And it's going to be harder and harder and harder to kind of kick them out of the way when these robo-taxis get ready. I want to own Uber. I want to own Tesla. I want to own both of them. I think they're both great long-term stocks. What?
We say we do a little recess and hop.
I've never
We
really.
got Mary here too.
Oh, Mary's here. I didn't know Mary was coming. I was like, oh, I guess we're no Mary on Wednesday.
Oh, we got Mary.
Come out.
Yeah.
What's up, Mary?
Hey, good morning, guys.
What is happening?
Oh, wait a minute. What's that? Get that out of there.
That's
Get that out of there.
Spencer in the
Is
that's
that you?
Spencer in the outfield.
Yeah, get that out of there. What's up?
Foreshadowing.
Mary, I like the shirt.
Hey, thanks. It's crazy. It's like 70 here in Michigan today. We've got like this huge warm front and cold front coming through, but yeah, it's really nice.
Have all the leaves fallen? Have all the
They're
leaves fallen?
falling. A lot of them falling today, just because we've got like gale force winds. So if I cut out, it's just because I lose power because winds are really bad.
I was looking at pictures of your fall on Instagram. It looked beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
Mary, what's on your mind? You look at more ASC research than, I don't know, probably anybody else in the world. So I'm always very interested to see what stands out to you, because what stands out to you a lot of times is different than how we see it.
Sure. So, it's been kind of hard the last couple of weeks because I've been so bullish. I'm basically all in, so there just hasn't been any capital to trade with lately. But one of the trades that we have talked about in Hot Corner Insider, one of my favorites I talked about, I think a week or two ago, and someone just mentioned it in the chat, is SoFi. And they had earnings yesterday. Then, sold off. So good, right? The candles between yesterday and now today are just fire. So again, I love this base. We are trading above that VWAP from the highs, base is in, reversal's in, let's go. So I'm excited about this one.
This is what you want in an earnings reaction. This thing was just climbing higher all day yesterday after the call, just steadily. I'm just watching this wick grow. And then today up another, 5.25%. Yeah. This is one of those for the beat report where we go in and manually say, nope, that's a market beat. Right?
Yep, absolutely.
This is a great
I was adding to the position yesterday. Once we came down and then we started climbing back up, I'm like, ooh, it's on. So
and the earnings were incredible. I mean, I love what the company's doing.
Yeah.
Really good stuff.
Really good stuff.
Yeah.
So that's one from our Hot Corner Insider. I know you guys were just talking about Hot Corner. And another one that I really liked, this was one that I was able to get involved with last week, Grab. You were just talking about the Uber. So this is the Uber of Singapore. High and tight. Yeah. So we made the move last week. I got involved in the move right about 480-ish. And kind of now, again, great base. I love bases, you guys. And of course, I'm always looking at the beaten down stuff, finding that base and then watching for the reversal and putting it in. But this one especially is so spicy because you've got a huge volume pocket, not a lot of volume in that area from about 4 to 10. So I'm excited to see where this one goes. It's high and tight the last couple of days since I've been in, since that initial move, and we'll see.
This is one of my favorite stocks right now. You're the best, Mary. Yeah. I've been waiting all my life for this breakup. Since
all your life. It's been trading just 5 years, if that.
This is very Andy Dufresne-like, to put it in the parlance of a one warlock.
You are so right. Yeah, coming through the muck, and now it's on its way to glory. Let's hope. Fingers crossed. I would love to get your opinion, though, guys. I know we're running short on time, but I also brought Baba along with me. So I've been stalking the Chinese stocks the last couple of weeks because I missed the initial move. And so Baba is, I was looking at it a couple of days ago. It kind of felt like it had retraced that move more or less, eyeballing it about 50%. So I started to take a little position, starting to nibble away on the Baba. And funny enough, you were mentioning the EDU, lots of other Chinese stocks that are on my radar, but this one I especially like. If we get above that 120, you've got, base would be completed. You've got a VWAP from the anchored high. That would be a great place where I'm going to plan on adding to the position so long as it doesn't turn against me here. So we'll see. But I'd love to get your thoughts on China.
I mean, something like this, I think you start scaling in, right?
Yeah.
And then you plan to finish the position when the base is complete. Something like 10 cent, I think that's just like a clean retest. The base is already in. Like with that, I want my full position on. So it's a little bit different in that way, but it's the same theme. If 10 cent works and we look back 2 years from now and say, oh, 10 cent was a great trade, you're not going to get mad at yourself that you jumped the base in BABA. That should work too. I'm all for it.
Yeah. So excited for our Mastermind class later today. And we've got so much great stuff. You guys are putting out so much great information. It's hard to even keep track of everything that's going on now because there's a lot, but a lot of good information, a lot of great education, and continue learning. So I'm a happy camper.
Seasonality and sentiment tonight, y'all.
Let's do
That should be exciting.
Do recess. Spencer. How many hot dogs did you eat last night, Spencer?
Did you do the hot dog beer challenge?
I did have a hot dog before the game. I'm not gonna lie. But
Did you go to Stan's? Billy's? Are you a Stan's guy or a Billy's guy?
I guess I would say I'm a Stan's guy, but really I've only been to Stan's once, so I don't know. No, if you pull the picture up, I want to show you a quick story. So I think I have it. This was a home run that was hit last night, and the top of the
there you are.
out of this sixth inning. So there's a lesson here, and the lesson is always pay attention. So I was, ironically enough, I was on my phone. I was showing my friend who I was with a video of the guy who was at bat Austin Wells. I was showing him a video of Austin Wells dancing because it's funny. And as I'm taking the video down, putting my phone away, all of a sudden, like I hear a crack in the bat, and everyone around me stands up, and I look up, and there's a ball heading. Austin Wells, the guy in the video on my phone, hit a ball right towards us. What this picture does not show is that I was in the middle of the section, but a bunch of people to my right had gone to get food or had gone to the bathroom, and they were not back yet. So there was a huge gap between me and like the two people that were on the aisle. So the ball landed in the aisle. So and this is the ball landing right now. That's the ball on the left. That's me on the right. So I was like you can see I'm facing the wrong way, right? Because I was like very disoriented because I was looking at my phone and I was looking up, and then there was a ball and there was a home run, and it was a lot happening all at once, and it was very confusing. So I was like excited, but also I was, wait a minute, there's the ball there. So after this shot, which you can't see obviously, but after this happened, I immediately beelined it for the aisle where everyone else was, and there was 3 guys wrestling on the ground for the ball. And then one by one, they get up, and none of them had it. Nobody had the ball. The ball, somebody else got the ball, and low key just like got away.
That's awesome.
and no one saw them. So that's how close I was to the home run last night. About 3 seats away. And
you
it
should
was
go again tonight. Imagine if there's some sort of epic comeback.
Yeah, I mean, it's unlikely, but I guess it's possible. It was a great experience. Unfortunately, where our seats were, I was not able to see the incident in the first inning. I think the first inning or maybe second inning, where the fan reached into the glove of the player, and we couldn't see that happen from where we were sitting. So I had to catch it on Twitter later. But yeah, it was fun. It was cool. So it's the closest I've ever come to a home run. So it was pretty exciting. I don't usually sit in the outfield, so pretty exciting stuff.
That's fun. Yeah. I'm bullish baseball right now. I'll just say again, I think you would really like that documentary.
Yeah, the lesson here is don't be on your phone. Pay attention, because I was not prepared for this home run to come to me. I was not even paying attention to the at-bat.
How funny it would have been Spencer Israel dropping the fly ball on national television. That would have been awesome. That could have been you.
Yeah, that could have been me. I was very.
Could have been you, like right, the guy fighting the right fielder with the glove. That's like Perma Bears, trying to fight bull markets, hoping it just goes away.
I know. Yeah, could have been. Anyway, that's what I got.
I wrote a picture along of our pumpkins. So obviously tomorrow Halloween, and so kids carved pumpkins just a couple days ago, and so here they are. The masterpieces of the year.
JC has a strange skill when it comes to carving pumpkins.
Oh, do tell.
What's the secret? Tell me.
He goes crazy, dude. He does like these like complex.
All the intricate.
Dude, I don't know where this like skill came from. Like, I'm not good at many things. I'm not really creative at all. But like, my pumpkin carving is like next level.
You use a
I don't know where it came
knife?
from.
You have to use a small knife. Is that the trick?
It looks professional. It really does.
Dude, I've done like I'll bring it tomorrow for recess. I've done Sebastian the Ibis. I've had like the whole Dolphins logo. I've done like the Miami Heat logo. Like, I've done some. I did Minnie Mouse a couple of years ago, dude. Crazy. Like, I don't know where this talent came from. I'm not good at anything.
All right,
Is it the size of the knife? Is that how you're able to do it? Like, cause I use a huge knife.
I use one of these like the cheap kits that you get at the grocery store for like $6. I break half the stuff along the way. Like, these things, there's nothing fancy about my.
It's not easy. Like, I don't really. It's not for me. All right.
Mary, how'd you do this? Is it a small knife, a medium knife?
No, these are my kids. Well, I mean, they were my kids. Yeah, it's super important to have like the serrated knife, right? So you can't. So that's kind of key. And then they're just the cheap ones that you get at the store, like the pumpkin carving knives.
I don't like the insides. Yeah. It's real. It's gooey. It's a weird situation. You got to like pull it out. I don't know.
It's literally a vegetable. It's not a big deal, Strazza.
Steve doesn't do that. Okay. We got the hot corner for Insider members at 1:00 today. As we mentioned, the Mastermind will be at 4. And Steve is recording the next episode of Off the Charts tonight. So that'll be coming out on Friday. That'll be fun. Thanks to our guest, Sonu Varghese. Thanks, Kenny. Thanks, Mary. Thanks, chat, for hanging out. We appreciate you guys. Go make money. And we'll see you later.
Adios.
Bye, guys.
I can't take no loss. I don't even know what it costs.